Hi everybody! Today I'm going to show you how I make homemade pizza crust. I'm actually going to quadruple the batch. I'm going to make 2 pizzas tonight to eat for dinner, and then we'll have 6 little pizzas to go into the freezer for later on. And I will walk you through everything I do to make that happen. So let's get started. So to get started, I'm going to add, this is 3 cups of warm water into my bowl, and this is again going to make 4 pizzas. So if you only want 2 pizzas, you'll cut that down to a cup and a half. Okay, next I'm going to add in a tablespoon and a half of yeast. And I'm doing a tablespoon and a half because I'm supposed to do 2 tablespoons, but I only have 3 packets, and each packet ends up to be about a tablespoon. Okay, so I've got my packet and a half of yeast and 3 cups of water in this bowl, and same in this bowl. Packet and a half of yeast and 3 cups of water. So then the next step is I'm going to add in, the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of honey, and I'm not going to double it. We've made this a lot of times, and if you like your pizza crust to be a little bit sweet, then you won't mind it, but Bo does not like it. So I'm just going to dump in, like that much. Just to take a little bit, or have a little bit of the sweet, but not so it's like overbearing. I don't even know if that was a 1/4 cup, but it's fine. Okay, so now I'm just going to mix these together, and let's see. I'm going to just let it sit for just about 5 minutes, and then I'll come back to it, and then we will start mixing it up. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes, so now I'm going to add in, this is 2/3 of a cup of olive oil. It is about a tablespoon and a half of garlic powder, and then some salt. You're supposed to do like, I think it's 2 teaspoons, but I just use a salt grinder and I just guess. So I'm going to dump that in. Hope you guys, yeah, you can see. Okay, cool. And then, oops. All of the seasonings went to the bottom of the cup. That's kind of disgusting. Okay, got most of that out. And now what I have to do is, I do not have a fancy KitchenAid mixer, so I get to stand here and manually get this crust all together, which is not so bad. So if you have a KitchenAid, you could be using that. If not, your dough hooks on your handheld mixer works just as good. One note, make sure you put them in right, because if you put them in backwards, the dough will work up its way into these little grooves to make your machine die. Not that I know that from first-hand experience. So I'm going to get the flour, which I just used a combination of wheat flour and all-purpose flour. I buy the unbleached. I'm not using bread flour. You can if you want. So I'm going to get this put in, just a couple cups at a time, get it all mixed. Okay, once it's all mixed, you want to take a little bit more olive oil and you want to pull it from the sides and brush the whole ball, I just use my hand. And then we'll put a towel on it and we'll cover it, and it needs to sit for an hour. And I don't know if I forgot to mention it, but just in case I did, so there were about 8 to 9 cups of flour I used that I put in here, and I will link the recipe down below of where I got the pizza dough recipe from. Okay, I've got both doughs covered and they're gonna rise for an hour. I need to fill my flour container, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set the timer so they'll be ready to start working with. Okay guys, so I'm back. So yesterday I did the big Aldi shopping trip and I got 2 packages of chicken. So what I'm gonna do is, this package has 4 chicken breasts in it and they're really big. So while the pizza dough is rising, I'm going to go ahead and get these in the oven to bake. I'm going to use some for the buffalo chicken pizza, and then I'm going to do some freezer cooking tomorrow. I'm going to make some chicken noodle soup. That's what it is. because we're getting into cold and flu season, and I love to have fresh chicken noodle soup ready, but I'll have it in the freezer instead of the canned stuff. I just think I don't know, it tastes better to me when I'm sick. So I'm just going to go ahead, get this cut up, and put in the thing. And yes, this is a bamboo stick. I am a freak. Can you see it? Where is it? Anyway, you'll see it. There it is. I am a freak about raw chicken. I just hate it. It's disgusting. So I use bamboo sticks to put them in the pan so I can just throw it away. I know, it's ridiculous. But anyway, so this is how I bake chicken when I'm going to be doing several things with it. I don't season it a whole lot because what would be good on buffalo chicken would not be good in chicken noodle soup. I mean, maybe it would be good, but the chances are it probably wouldn't be. So I'm just going to go ahead, get the chicken. I do not rinse my chicken. I know some people do that. Again, I think it's weird to have chicken all over your sink. My mom has kind of scarred me from that. So yeah, just put them in the pan. Get that guy back there. There he goes. Okay, so yeah, these are huge. So crazy. So big. And then all I'm going to do, I know, and I just touched the knife. I try to be really careful, but just that little tiny tip is nothing to wash. So I'm going to set that at the very end of my dishes. And I'm just going to do a little bit of olive oil on the top. I'm going to do just some pepper, which these grinders come from Sam's. And they're a really good value. This was only like $4, and I think this was like $4 or $5. So if you have a Sam's Club membership, seasonings are kind of cheap there. Now, some stuff at Sam's you can get really carried away. Like everything's, you know, like usually between $10 and $20. So you go in for a couple of things and you walk out with $60 worth. So you do need to be careful of that. But like I bought this, I think it was back in like December, and I'm not even, you can't even really tell. I think I'm like just about halfway through it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get these put in the oven. They'll bake for just under an hour, and they should be ready about the time when the pizza crust is ready. And then I'll show you the two different sauces. I'm going to make one for the marinara pizzas and one for the buffalo chicken pizzas. The chicken has come out, and the pizza dough is risen. So now it's time to make the sauces. So we're going to have two sauces going. The first one I'm going to do in this big pot is just the plain pizza sauce that will go on like pepperoni pizza or whatever kind you want. And then this one will be the buffalo chicken sauce. So here are the ingredients. So the buffalo chicken sauce has butter, a little bit of tomato paste, a little bit of Worcestershire, however you say it, 1 can of tomato sauce, some hot sauce, a little bit of garlic, salt, and pepper. And then in the other, the plain pizza sauce, I'm going to do 2 cans of the pizza sauce. And I'm going to add a little bit more of this Italian blend grinder seasoning and just a little bit more garlic. And I will go ahead and get those put together and let them simmer for a bit before we start assembling the pizzas. In the pizza sauce pot, I'm going to dump the first can, the second can, it's really hot. I'm going to turn it down on low just a little bit. Okay, then I'm going to add in, let's see if I can do this one-handed. I'm going to add in just some tomato paste, just a little bit of extra garlic powder. Need to refill my container. And I'm going to do, just to stretch it, I'm going to do another can of tomato sauce. So just, and then what I'll do is it'll kind of stretch it just a little bit. I'll add in some extra seasoning, and then I'll freeze what I don't use. So I'll go ahead and get this open, dumped in, and stir it together. So I went ahead and I dumped in that extra can of tomato sauce. I have the 2 cans of pizza sauce, Italian seasoning, garlic, a little bit of salt and pepper, and then that tomato paste. And essentially all that does is it just stretches the sauce. Essentially all pizza sauce really is just tomato sauce with seasonings. So I kind of have like one homemade can and then 2 store-bought cans. So now that that's all mixed together, that looks good. I'm just going to put it on low. I'm going to get the lid so it doesn't make a mess. And now we'll do the buffalo chicken sauce. You're going to start with like 2 tablespoons of butter. It's a really hot pan. Let that melt. Then we're going to put in another can of tomato sauce. It's a hot pot. A little bit of tomato paste again. This is like what really makes it good. It's going to sound really weird. Sorry, this is so shaky. But you're going to put in some Worcestershire sauce. So just like that. Hot sauce. And this you can adjust based on how like hot you like your pizza. We like it pretty hot. Not so hot that you don't, enjoy it, but hot enough that it has a good kick to it. Okay, so I ended up putting about like a cup and a half of the hot sauce in. So then you just stir it together. And that is the base for the buffalo chicken sauce. So now we'll just let those 2 kind of simmer. Probably about 10 to 15 minutes. And let's go roll out some pizza crusts. Okay, so now we're going to roll out the pizza crust. So how we do the big ones is we just put parchment paper on one pizza pan, and then we kind of roll out one big one and then use that and then flip it over and then roll out another big one, which you'll see. And then I have 4 cake pans, and this will be the size of the personal pan. So we'll roll out the pizzas in here, kind of press them out, put a little olive oil on them, and then poke them, and then they'll go in the oven for 7 minutes. We'll bring them out of the oven, top them with the sauce, the cheese, and like the pepperoni or whatever we want to put on it. And then once they're topped, you then wrap them in saran wrap, and then wrap them in tin foil, and then you put them in the freezer. And that's as simple as that. And then when you cook them, you bake them just like you would bake a normal frozen pizza. It's 425 degrees for about 10 minutes or so. And I'll put all of that in the description. So I'm going to bring in my helper, Miss Lily, and we're going to get rolling some pizza dough. I worked at a pizza place in high school, and we used to trace our dough out, but I don't have the cool fun tools for that, so I basically just work it. Oh no, I'm trying not to get holes in it. If you do, just pinch it over. But I try to work it, stretch it. You do a little bit more flour. Okay, both of the big crusts are rolled out. Lily's working on hers. I'm gonna start on the individual crusts now.
Try to not get our hands in the sauce, but if we do, then that's okay. We can just lick it.
Okay, and then these are what the crusts look like when they come out of the oven for the frozen pizzas. Minutes of the crust doing their pre-bake. They're out now, and then what you'll do, I'll just keep baking them as I go, and I'll get a nice stack. And then I'll top them, and then wrap them, and then freeze them. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Okay, so once the sauce is done and the chicken's done, you'll cube up your chicken pretty small. And then I take a little bit of the sauce and I coat all of the chicken. It's really, really hot. And then you take your pizza, put the little marks in it so that it doesn't bake up really, really high. Then you take a little bit of the sauce. I start in the middle like about half a cup to a cup. Then I just take the back of my spatula and spread it. Get all the way to the edge. And that looks pretty good. So then I'll take some of the chicken. So again, this is enough for like 2 large pizzas and then probably 1 or 2 of the smaller frozen pizzas. Just like a couple pieces per slice of pizza. That looks about right. And then you'll take, I'm just doing a mozzarella provolone blend, and usually I'll grate it fresh because bag cheese doesn't cook as well, but this was on sale and this is a lot of work, and so I'm taking a shortcut. So just spread it all over. I do about a half a bag of cheese per pizza. Then you take blue cheese, whatever your favorite is, and I take about a cup, about a handful, and I just put it all over. A little bit more. And then I slice up green onions really fine. If there's bigger pieces, you can just break it up with your hand and sprinkle those on top. And this just adds color and good crunch to
the pizza.
Yeah.
I kind of finished your sentence.
And then it goes in the oven, and I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. So this is the end result to the buffalo chicken pizza. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. This was all part of my stocktober plan for my family. If you haven't heard of stocktober yet, it's from Jordan Page at funcheaperfree.com, and I will link her site in the description below. One note I want to leave you with is each pizza cost $1.04 to make, so it's a lot cheaper and healthier than ordering pizza or buying a frozen pizza at the store. This has been Abby with Abby and Liz, the channel where we're learning to live within our means. Thanks for watching.